Hi, I'm Laura the Library Lady, and welcome to this episode. Today I will be discussing The Book of Black Heroes, Great Women in the Struggle, Volume 2. This is a reading rainbow book, and it's an introduction for young readers. And there are 4 authors of this book, and I looked them up on the website, and they're all very impressive authors. Now, the first author, I'm not sure how to say her name. Her name is Toyomi Igus. Her first name is Toyomi. Her last name is Igus, and she's a prolific author. She has written several books for children and, of course, other nonfiction books. Then we have Veronica Freeman Ellis, Diane Patrick, and Valerie Wesley. And Miss Wesley has a very elaborate, nice website, and she even publishes under another name. So all of these ladies have written books, and you can find information about each one of them online. Now, I love this book because it's about great women, but I also love it because it incorporates poetry. So we have a foreword. So a foreword, it gives information about the book. And then it has a contents page or table of contents, and it's broken down by category. We have freedom fighters, breaking down barriers, and the ladies' names listed who these researchers and writers considered to be freedom fighters, educators, building strong foundations, writers and fine artists, the power of creativity, performing artists, bearing witness through self-expression, athletes, the spirit of champions, entrepreneurs, taking care of business, lawyers and policymakers, forging equal justice, scientists and healers, exploring without boundaries. So that just gives you an idea how these authors organize the information and the women that they profile in this book. Then we have a poem, and it's just the poem, no illustrations, no pictures. I am a black woman. I am a black woman, tall as a cypress, strong, beyond all definition, still defying place and time and circumstance, assailed, indestructible. Look on me and be renewed. That was from I Am a Black Woman by Mari Evans. Then we open up with the very first chapter, or profiling these ladies who are considered freedom fighters and breaking down barriers. And it says 2 elderly women attend a 1900 convention for former slaves. Okay. Ain't I a woman? I have plowed and planted and gathered into barns, and no man could head me. Ain't I a woman? If the first woman God ever made was strong enough to turn the world upside down all alone, these women together ought to be able to turn it back and get it right side up again. And that was by Sojourner Truth, who I played when I was in 2nd grade. No, I did not recite that poem. At 7, I don't think I would have understood that poem at all. So that just gives you a sampling, and in each area of the book has a different poem or quote. Like we have one from Miss Martha Collins, and here she is. Thousands will tell you it cannot be done. Thousands will tell you that you will fail. But only you, child, will know how far you can sail. So say to yourself, I shall not fail. And that's by Miss Martha Collins. And her, and she's, of course, an educator. And so they profile the women. It's one woman per page. This is Phyllis Wheatley. And it's under Writers and Fine Artists. Oh, they have something here by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Oh, so that's part of her poem. And then, let's see here. Performing artist, and I have Judith Jamison. I am a singer, not a politician, but every song I sing becomes a statement that echoes the hopes and aspirations of my people. Oh, that was from Miriam Makeba, and they have a picture of Judith Jamison, who of course is over the Elvin Ailey Dance Company. Okay. They have Hattie McDaniel there. Okay. Just gives a profile. So this is a great book for students to start their research. Then they have athletes, and they have a picture of Florence Griffith Joyner. I remember seeing her in the Olympics. So sorry that she passed. They have a quote by Wilma Rudolph. It took sheer determination to be able to run 100 yards and remember all of the mechanics that go along with it. It takes steady nerves and being a fighter to stay out there. Wow, very powerful. Once again, that quote's by Wilma Rudolph. And then here's her entry. She died in 1995. She was very young. She was only born in 1940. Okay, and see, and then they have lawyers and policymakers, and they have a picture of the young lady who was separated when they integrated the high school, Central High School in Little Rock. And it says here, you could say that race was an obstacle to me. You could say that sex was an obstacle to me. But I refused to own them in that way. I was black and female, but I never conceived that those were supposed to keep me from doing what I wanted to do. And that's from Eleanor Holmes Norton. She's a representative from Washington, D.C. Well, you know what I mean by representative, because Washington, D.C. doesn't truly have representation, but you know, they have her here as a civil rights lawyer. Here's her entry. Okay. And Maxine Waters. Scientists and healers. And they have a picture of Mae Jemison, the first African-American female in space. Failure to recognize possibilities is the most dangerous and common mistake one can make. Don't limit yourself because of others' limited imagination. Never limit another because of your limited imagination. And that's by Dr. Jameson. These are beautiful quotes. Very inspiring and uplifting. So at the end of the book, after all the ladies are entered, it has a timeline. And this book also has a bibliography. So if you want more information about what you see in this book, you can look at these. Source notes. I used to call them footnotes. I know kids don't like to do them now. And then they have a short bio about the 4 authors. And then they list where they got all of their pictures. So of the women, not the pictures of the women who are featured in the book. So these ladies did their homework. And of course at the end, it has an index. So in this presentation, I'm sharing a lot about parts of a book. And you'll say, well, we don't use reference books anymore. That is so true in many instances. But when you go online, you need to be aware, especially if you're using an academic online service, these things are available as well, but they may not be as apparent. And so make sure if you're doing research that you look at the bibliography of an article. It will lead you or your child to another article. But this is a great book. The websites of these women is just very interesting, very diverse genres. And this book is available on Amazon.com. It may or may not be in your local library because it was released in the mid-90s. And libraries usually can't keep books very long, probably 10 years at the most. But you can definitely get it on Amazon. It's a very inspirational book. Some of the information may be outdated because it's nonfiction, because some of the ladies that were featured in the book who were alive at the time of publishing may now be deceased. So that's one thing you have to be very careful about with nonfiction, is making sure that the information is current. And this information, depending on the individual, is current and or may not be current and may need to be updated. But it's still very valuable. And so I hope you check it out. And thank you for joining me, and happy reading!